So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. I have a cold, and it's the worst kind of cold, the man cold. I'm telling you, a guy feeling like this could sit around holding down the couch all day complaining about having a cold, or a man would come down here to the sawmill and complain about it down here, which is what I'm doing. But the sun is trying to peek through a little bit. That right there makes you feel a little bit better. I haven't seen it all day till now. It's about 3:30 or 4 o'clock, but things are starting to look up. But before we start today's video, I wanted to mention we have fire starter available right now on the website. There will be a link in the description, pinned comment as well. And if you are signed up for our newsletter, you probably already know that. You're going to see this video on Sunday morning, and we're putting the fire starter on right about now, 4 o'clock on Saturday. So like I said, link, description, pinned comment as well. I have found now is the time of year where I start more fires, because in the morning, you know, it'll be 20 degrees, and by afternoon it gets up to 50, so I'm always letting the fire go out. It's not like when it's nice and cold. So I've been going through it and looking at the emails and the comments. A lot of you have as well. But anyway, we're down here at the sawmill right now. I've got a beautiful red oak here. I just loaded on the mill, about 20 inches in diameter. This is one of the ones that came from across the road there at the neighbor's place. And for me, this is kind of like the sweet spot. I like this size of a log, 20, 22 inches. You get a lot of boards out of something like this, but it's not so big that things are hard to handle either. You know, it's a good size log to get some nice lumber out of. Now this one here, it's got just a little bit of staining right here. I don't think that's metal, but I'm sure we will find out here in a little bit if it is. This tree, it wasn't like a yard tree. It came from back in the woods, close to a yard, not near any old fence lines or anything like that. So I think it should be okay, but we'll know once we get it opened up. Now that end down there that I just measured, that is the bottom of the log, and this end here, about 20 inches. So there's not very much taper at all to this, which is nice. I think I've got it pretty well centered up. I'm at about 10 3/4 to the pith right here in the middle. On this end, 10 3/4, and about 10 3/4, 10 7/8 on this end. Now, just so you know, even though I've got a log on the mill and I'm getting ready to fire this up, this isn't really going to be a sawmill video. We're going to talk about a few things here in a bit, but I've been kind of struggling with a few things, and we'll get into that. I don't know. I try to stay, and I like to think that I'm a pretty positive and upbeat person, and I think most of our videos are like that because that's just kind of who we are. But this one may not be so much. I mean, I've kind of got good news and bad news, I guess you could say. I don't know. But we're going to square this log up. Let me collect my thoughts a little bit, and we'll talk more about that. Well, I was wrong. I noticed that little bit of staining right there. Didn't think it was a big deal. However, there it is. See that right there? I just flipped this one over, so I hit it right here. Look what it did to that blade. Nice, smooth cut right here. Not so much right there. I could tell when I hit it just from the vibration, but yeah, that's not good. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna flip this one over. I was just about to do that anyway. We'll start sawing on the other side. Yeah, we'll just keep working this one till we get back close to this, and we'll have to dig it out of there. All right, had to go get a few things in my sawmill support vehicle here. I think we'll do a quick blade change, and then we're going to try to dig that piece of metal out before we flip that log over. We'll have to see how it works out. It only takes about, 5 minutes or so to change a blade. I'm just going to snug this up a little bit while I put the panels back on, and then we will tighten it up the rest of the way. All right, we got the blade change. We're going to see if we can't see what that is. We're not going to spend a lot of time on it. Like I said, I'll just flip the log. But what I like to use for this is a quality Harbor Freight chisel. You gotta be kidding me. Little screw, tiny little screw did all that. Wonder how many more are in here. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. It was pointed down, so I think we got all of it. You know, I think the rest of it was in that board. We're going to dig a little bit more out of there, though, and see. I can't get over that tiny little screw. I've hit nails before that didn't do near the damage as that little screw right there. It's unreal. I think the staining went away. Go a little bit longer this way. I can't get over that. Huh. So if you remember, I lifted this end of the log up to center the pith. What I like to do, everybody does things different, but once I flip it like this, I'm gonna lift the whole log off the deck, and I'll take my leaf blower and just blow off underneath of it. You know, I don't know if there's a big chunk of bark under it or something, so I like to keep that clean once I flip it 180 degrees. Well, that is very nice stuff. 13 inches wide. This is 4/4 right here. I've got 4 pieces, and I've been staying away from this stain down here, although I hope that one little screw is what caused that. We will find out later on. But anyway, I need to get on with the topic of today's video. I've been kind of dragging my feet. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about this, but then I thought, why not? So I am a member of my high school reunion planning committee. I'm not sure how that happened, but it did. And I've been helping with the reunions for the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 of them. And we have them every 5 years. And we are in the planning and preparation phase for our 40th reunion, which is unbelievable. And that's coming up this summer. And we always have our reunions around the 4th of July weekend, either before or right after. And it's just always worked out that way. Well, when we have a reunion, normally those people that go to the reunion will come to our 4th of July party as well. And if you're not familiar with that, each year we have a big 4th of July celebration. And sometimes it's like a combined party. Like last year, it was Eva's graduation party, and then the 4th of July party as well. And this all started like 30 years ago with Hunter's birthday party. And first year we had 4 or 5 people. Next year, 8 or 10. Next year, 15 or 20 and a few fireworks. And then it kind of grew to where we have, a couple hundred people each year, at least, come to this party. So anyway, I'm at a reunion planning meeting a couple weeks ago, and someone brought up, they said, well, what night are you having the party? And I said, I'm not sure if we're having one. And everyone was kind of like, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's fine, but just not sure we're having one this year. And I have been struggling with this for the last couple years, to be honest with you. It's like we're just going through the motions, We celebrate Independence Day and the 4th of July, all that, and we have fireworks and all these people come over and we read, stories from our founding fathers. We play taps on the trumpet, my neighbor does. It's a beautiful event. But like I said, the last couple years, I'm just not feeling it. And it's been bothering me, and I'm not sure why. You know what I mean? And I don't think we're going to have it this year. Melissa and I talked about it. I just feel as though we're in a big mess. We really are. And I told you there's going to be good news and bad news in this. Things aren't good in the country, and I almost feel like a hypocrite at times celebrating our freedom and independence, because we lose more of our freedoms every single year, and we all just sit back and watch it happen and don't say anything about it. And I thought, why am I doing this each year? Because, I don't know, like I said, I kind of feel like a hypocrite doing it. And I don't like the feeling. I don't like it one bit, but things are just a big mess. And, when it comes to politics, anytime I mention anything at all, we can all have our opinions. I don't care. But anytime I mention anything political, I'll get nasty emails. I'll get nasty comments. And you know what? I don't care. I really don't. I believe what I believe. I know what I know. And I know right now we're in a big mess and it's not getting any better. But the older that I get, the more knowledge that you gain and the more you figure things out. I never dreamed of these things when I was younger. But looking back now, I've been taught my entire life, or told, that you're supposed to hate and argue with anyone that disagrees with you politically. I've been told to always be afraid of something, from when I was a kid. It was acid rain. It was the hole in the ozone layer, which, by the way, ruined the great 80s hairstyle. Remember all that hairspray? That's how I met Melissa, by the way. Drove by the pizza shop she worked in. She had this ginormous head of hair. She was beautiful. And that's when I started ordering pizzas. But so you had global warming, hole in the ozone, acid rain, global cooling, ice age, then global warming, and then it's all just climate change, I was told, what else were we told? There's all kind of things. Like I said, argue with anyone that disagrees with you, climate change, all this stuff has been beat into our heads, and it's all just to get us fighting with one another so the politicians do whatever they want. The fact of the matter is, and I've talked about this before as well, the national debt has been increasing about $1 trillion every 100 days since June of last year. And whenever I bring that up, people tell me I'm just a fear monger or, just making people panic or whatever. I hope I'm wrong about it. I am. But before you tell me that, at least explain to me how this all works out. I don't think that it does. There's no way that this house of cards can keep standing the way it is. It's just not going to happen. And to be honest, I have never in my life wished, harm on my own country or for things to go badly. And another thing, I have always voted for what was in the country's best interest, in my opinion, not my own best interest. That's the truth. I always have. But like I said, I don't ever want anything bad to happen. However, I'm ready to rip the Band-Aid off this thing. I am. We are fast approaching a time, it might even be here now, where we pay more on interest on the debt than our whole military budget. Sooner or later, we'll get to the point where all taxes collected won't even cover the interest on the debt. So like I said, if you know how this all works out, let me know. You know what I mean? Because I'd be happy to hear it. If it makes sense, I'll be like, whatever, keep printing and borrowing money. Doesn't matter, I guess. But if that's the case, why do we even have taxes? If we can spend, this year, in the last year, it'll be $3 trillion more than they took in. What's the matter with 7 trillion more if 3 trillion's okay? It doesn't even make sense to me. And the other thing that really bothers me is we are being ruled by bureaucrats who aren't even elected. You know, the elected officials just appoint these people and they make up all these rules that you have to abide by. And I always ask myself, how are we really as free as what we once were? The answer is definitely not, you know? And just none of it makes sense. It really doesn't. And if it's going to happen, which I'm convinced it's going to happen, I would like to see this all go down now. I would. Just get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off. I don't know how this will all shake out or what's going to happen. I imagine at some point the dollar will completely collapse. They'll go to like a digital currency or something. I have no idea. But these people, it has to be intentional. There's no way you could do things this dumb, you know? And I'm not just picking on Biden, believe me. I mean, he's, oh boy, that guy, he's something else. He really is. You know, I talk about the party, and this will offend a lot of people. I don't care. We have 300 people come to a 4th of July party. If Joe Biden was in attendance at that party and, you know, you needed a bag of ice, nobody's going to give Joe Biden the keys to run and get a bag of ice. Not going to happen. Everybody knows better. But everyone will defend him and give him the keys to the country. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. And, you know, Republicans, Democrats alike, I don't really like either of them. Right now, though, I have never seen it like it is. Since I have been starting to pay attention, like I said, I was told to argue and fight with anyone that disagrees with me politically. I was told to always be afraid of something. I was told they're always going to control spending, worse now than it ever was. I've been told every election cycle they're going to do something about the border. Absolutely worse conditions at the border in the last year than there has ever been. More people crossing illegally. So then they say they need more money for the border. They don't need more money. They just need to enforce the laws that already exist. They don't do that. They don't do anything. They worry about other countries' borders, but not our borders. You know what I'm saying? And the money that we send overseas, it's just crazy. And people get mad and they blame the wrong people, you know? I've talked to a few other people and guys that do YouTube channels, and you can kind of tell when things are starting to get rough with the economy. You see more negative comments from people. And we're really fortunate with our channel. 99% of them are nice, normal people. But literally every video, there's someone mad that I have an excavator. Why would that bother anybody? I have no idea what somebody else has. Or they're mad that I got a new sawmill, or it must be nice. And you can tell these people are just frustrated. But, you know, you're never going to achieve what you're after by worrying what somebody else has. It just doesn't work that way, and it never has, and it never will. But you can kind of tell when you start to see an uptick in that. You know, there's layoffs every day. I just mentioned in that last video, 850 jobs in West Virginia, Allegheny Wood Products, Wheeling, West Virginia. There's a steel plant or something just closed down. Tech jobs gone. I mean, in the media, it's a bloodbath there, and that's not always a bad thing. They lie to us all the time. I mean, about everything. I made the mistake. I walked in the house the other day, and Melissa had something on the TV, and it carried on into the news, and we don't even watch the news. You know what I mean? I get my information from a lot of different sources, but they just lie to us. And like I said, it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat, but something that is fresh in everyone's mind. You remember last month, they tried passing a border bill, they called it. Nothing to do with the border at all. It was a war bill for over in Ukraine. You know, $60 billion for them, money for Israel, and then they wanted to spend some more money on the border. So they set this up as, we want all this money for these other countries. We call it a border bill. Well, the other day, Trump and Biden both were down at the border. And the news literally comes out and says, you know, Biden's trying to do something about the border, but just last month, the Republicans would not support the border bill. So they're blaming it on the Republicans. And once again, the Republicans are almost as bad as the Democrats. I think there's probably a few good ones, probably a few good Democrats, but all in all, it's just it's a crock. It really is. You know, to name something a border bill that has nothing to do with our border and then blame the opposing political party that it's their fault that the border's not protected, when all of the laws that need to protect the border are in place, all the funding, all the people, all the everything, and nobody does anything about it. The Border Patrol has turned into a welcoming committee, not a border patrol, and that's the way it is. And I don't get it, and I'm just tired of it, and I don't care, meaning like it's not, you know, we'll survive no matter what. You know what I mean? We just keep plugging away. But the good news is, I keep telling you there's good news, and here's the good news. Everybody that I know and I associate with, and 99% of the people that comment on our videos, and people that I have met at like the Paul Bunyan show or at Boonville, New York, or just out in the public, we run into people all the time that watch our channel, and everybody that I know, they are good people. And they're just doers. You know what I mean? They make things happen and they get by. It's not always easy. Everybody has challenges and everyone has obstacles that get in the way. But everyone that I know and I associate with are all those types of people. These are not the type of people that are in Washington at all. Nothing like that at all. So what I'm saying is, I think no matter what happens, there's enough good people out there that we'll get through just fine. We will. It's not going to be easy, and there's going to be some disruptions, and I have no idea what any of this is going to be like, but there's way more good people than there are knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? A lot more, and somehow we let all the knuckleheads go to Washington. I don't know how or why. It's just crazy. It is, but that is what I'm struggling with. I'm not sure if I should celebrate freedom anymore, or if, I don't know what I'm celebrating. I don't. But anyway, I had to pause the camera there for a minute. I was starting to feel like Chevy Chase in that scene in Christmas Vacation when he got the Jelly of the Month Club bonus. But I'm good. I'm all okay. And it kind of felt good to get that off my chest. I know many of you, if not most of you, probably feel the same way. But like I said, remember, there's a lot of good people out there. And we'll get by, you know what I mean? And yeah, everything will work out somehow, some way. I just think things are going to be different. But anyway, don't forget, fire starter is available. You probably want to buy some because it may become the new currency for all we know, and it'd be good to have a bunch of that. And that's it. Hope you have a good week. Catch you on the next one.